Hello, Anand. Welcome to The Vibrant Couple. We are here to talk about polarization. I understand that you have a question.
Yes, my partner Devi and I have been working on upgrading our polarity and our polarization. And one of the areas we see some room for improvement on is her being a great planner, but wanting me, who is much less of a planner, to plan dates so that she can be in her feminine, in her receptive feminine, while I step up more into my masculine for those dates. And I think one of the challenges is planning is like her gift and her genius, where planning is just not my thing. I'm a Gemini. I'm really good at going with the flow and making that beautiful. And our challenge is to not let that turn into a depolarizing thing that gets rid of the magic that polarity creates for us.
Yeah. Does she get upset when you don't plan dates?
No, but if I let her plan too many dates in a row, it's a little exhausting for her, and it creates a minor bit of resentment. So yeah, upset is too strong, but it does create some exhaustion in her masculine. Yeah.
And then when you plan dates, is she happy or is there something in which somehow there is still friction?
I think the answer is yes. I think there is a feminine tendency to doubt the masculine and to recurringly test the masculine's purpose and strength and commitment by whether or not I planned it to just challenge me of whether I planned it well and did I plan it thoroughly. And part of that polarity is to just be that strong, reassuring pole of I've got this girl. And there are days when that's easier than others for the masculine.
Her capacity to plan things well, is that masculine? Is that feminine? Where would you put that on the polarity spectrum?
You know, I've thought about this, and I think some of the really great CEOs of the world have an amazing feminine assistant who really runs their business, and the masculine CEO might get paid more, but maybe the woman actually does more. And so I think there is a pattern where that works, but it may not work in a juicy, sexy relationship.
Planning is neither masculine or feminine. It is the way it is used that is. So she can basically say, this is the direction we're going, this is what we're doing, and at 2 p.m. we do this, at 3 p.m. we do that, at 4 p.m. we do that, everyone follows. So that is masculine. And she can also do that from a feminine point of view. Just look at young girls talking about, oh, when I will get old, I'll marry a prince or a duke. And they plan the wedding again and again and again, but they plan that from their feminine. You see the difference?
Fair, yes, thank you.
So what if you were to say, hey, darling, I want to go on a date with you. I believe that dinner in a cozy place would be wonderful. How about you give me a few options?
It almost sounds too uncertain and not masculine enough. It's more like, I'm taking you on a date. Here is this option or that option. Which do you prefer? My Devi has been pretty clear that if I ask her what she needs, that puts her in her masculine pole. If I give her choices, she can make a choice, but if I give her too much, too large of a realm of possibilities, that is very unsexy and very polarizing into her masculine. So I've learned not to do that with this particular, with my love.
Yeah. Do you have an idea typically of what would be good for her?
Absolutely.
And so could you lead with that?
I could, and I think part of it is like I'm a Gemini. I I'll just pick something. It's 8 o'clock. We're both hungry. Like, let's go here. And then her very good reminder is sometimes at 8 o'clock you don't get a table in the right restaurant that we want to get to, and so planning ahead is better. And my psyche is not built for that.
So your psyche is not built for that, I agree, but you want polarity.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
I love the juiciness of polarity.
You do that. And so between the two, is one more important to you?
Yes. It's the polarity. But that requires upfront planning, which sometimes I'm not wired to do.
So this is the piece in which I'm not on the same page or not, or I may seem different, is I believe her planning qualities are wonderful. She's most likely much more experienced and expert planner than you are.
And she enjoys it where I really detest it.
Exactly. So the enjoyment is the feminine, and the feminine needs two things, needs to have the direction and to have the container to somehow observe and be with all that pleasure. Before it is 8 p.m., in the middle of the day, you somehow remember, and maybe you put an alarm on your clock, at 3 p.m. is the time when I'm going to somehow give a direction for the night. So you somehow slow down, you sense what she wants, and you say, hey, darling, how about our Indian restaurant tonight?
Yeah, and I think with her, it's the day before. So it's
The day before.
planning proactively. And then even then, in the post-COVID world, some restaurants you really need to book 3 days in advance, otherwise you can't eat there. And it goes against my wiring, but it's also the new reality, so I have to stop fighting it and just adapt.
Yeah. So 3 days before, you put your alarm on and you somehow meditate for 5 minutes, what would my loved want? And then somehow you have a sense between, Thai and Indian, and you say, well, let's pick one. So how about Friday night we go and to our favorite Indian restaurant? How does that sound?
Yeah, that's perfect. That actually stimulates her beautifully.
If she says no, she's not saying no to you, is she saying no to the Indian restaurant? So somehow the idea is that you keep exploring that. Tell me more. And she says, I may prefer to be in a more quiet place. I may prefer just you and I may prefer this on that. And then with that new information, you can say, well, how about we stay home and you put your favorite dress on and I'll cook for us.
Yeah. She's actually beautifully good at saying why it's a no, so I'm not guessing, and that really helps.
Wonderful. One of the pieces which is important is that your giving the direction is not in the vacuum, is sensing her. If she has to tell you what she wants, then this is no longer a surprise. This is no longer juicy.
That's correct. The other thing I've noticed in all those interactions is if I really give her my focus and my attention, she craves that. And so the communication, if I really get into my fully focused masculine, that melts part of her and is really effective.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. So you tell her, hey, how about we go Friday night to our favorite Indian restaurants? My hunch is that you can then follow up with, she somehow says yes or whatever feminine expression. And then you follow up with that, would you mind doing the reservations?
With a masculine direction. That's a great reminder. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So she would do the reservations from her feminine because you gave her the masculine direction.
Good. So it's not all or nothing. I don't have to do it all and be like the masculine martyr. I get to
No.
Okay, good.
No. And so basically,
Okay.
what the reason you want to be in your masculine is not because you want to be macho, not because you want that, but because the more you are, the more she gives you her juicy feminine.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So basically, this is your gauging meter whether you're doing a good job or not. Is she radiant and flowing and in her pleasure or not?
That's really powerful because I feel like sometimes I step in the masculine from a little bit of a place of martyrdom of like, oh, I have to do this and this and this. And I'm in my masculine all the time. And sometimes it's actually healthy for me to be my healthy masculine to drop into my feminine. But it's not good for our like love relationship to be there too much. But yeah, the martyrdom of like, oh, I got to stay in masculine all the time is exhausting too and not healthy.
Yeah. So let's pretend for a second that instead of just being one dinner, it's the whole weekend. You sense would be good. You somehow sense warm. You sense just the two of you. How darling, how about we get somewhere warm this weekend and we put the kids at my parents'? And I don't know if you have kids, I don't know if you have parents. It does not matter for our conversation right now. And so somehow you didn't say where, you just said something warm because that's what you sensed of her. And how about you do some research about what cool, warm places we could go for the weekend, within a budget of, $300. I'm just inventing again. It does not matter whether your budget may be 300,000, but I don't think that matters here. So then, in her feminine, she's going to say, oh, Maui, how about jacuzzi? How about this? How about that? And then she comes to you and says, hey, these are three options. So she's done all the pre-planning. You haven't done anything. So what does the masculine do next?
I guide and instruct. So I choose the one and then tell her, okay, it's Maui. It's this hotel. Will you make the booking and also get dinner at steakhouse the first night and a really good seafood restaurant the second night?
Wonderful, wonderful. So I saw, and I'm going to make visible something that you did that some of the people watching this may not see, is I saw you sensing her. So as she told you, Maui, jacuzzi, or this, you were fully listening to what was most juicy for her.
Yes.
And you made that decision. Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
How do you then retake the lead so that it's your masculine giving you the direction to the airport, to that hotel, and to the restaurant, and not her because she has the tickets?
Yeah, I feel that my job as the masculine pole is to take the day-to-day stressful interactions and bear the brunt of those. So if we're at the airport and we're trying to figure out from luggage to car rental place to hotel, it's my job to be like, girl, I've got this, and to pull up Google Maps or to ask for directions and do all those things that men are actually bashed by women for not doing well. That men don't ask for directions, men make women kind of worry about those details, and to be the man who just lets her relax in the passenger seat while I navigate those challenging parts of the trip.
Yeah. And so in women's defense here, very few men know how to lead. And, if we take a look at the river and the flow of the river as the metaphor of the masculine and the feminine, the flow needs the bed of the river. If there is a bed of the river collapses, then it becomes a puddle or the flow disappears. So most women, especially in our very masculine business culture, bring onto the picture their masculine before relying on their partner's masculine.
Yeah, that's the depolarization. Yeah.
Exactly. So you're knowing about this and finding ways to counter that is wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So how does it apply when you come home from work?
I think one way to do it is to just be like, hey, baby, get into your flowing dress. It makes you look so sexy, and I know it makes you feel comfortable.
And so why does it polarize?
It allows her to be in her flowing feminine of being just ease and grace and beauty and just the light that she brings into my life. And essentially, the changing is also a ritual of stepping out of one role into another.
Yeah. And so what do you normally do when you come home?
I put my keys in the key bowl, which actually makes a singing bowl kind of sound, and it's also this like I'm home. And then I just look up and feel really grateful. And I think there really is, it's like a shorthand kind of ritual of appreciation of just being grounded, like I'm here in my temple. I get to be whatever I want to do. I get to walk around in the attire that's comfortable, and I get to celebrate and kind of rejoice the end of the day and being with my love.
Cool. Putting your keys in the singing bowl most likely is good for her as well, and sounds like inviting her to put her the dress that she likes is a next way for you to polarize the relationship more between the two of you.
Yeah, and I think on the nights where we have enough energy to cook together, it's foreplay. Like we kiss while cooking, and there's a lot of just physical interaction as we prepare food to nourish our bodies.
It's one of my favorite foreplays as well, so I fully understand. Cool. So, did our conversation somehow help you further understand masculine feminine polarization, and how can you more naturally can step into your masculine so she can more naturally step into her feminine?
Yes, thank you. I think the key takeaway for me is that those activities have no masculine or feminine polarity inherently, and it's the energy we bring to them that either takes away the polarity we wish for or gives it the polarity we desire. And so coming from that polarity space and imbuing that activity of planning or the date planning with that masculine polarity, or allowing her to be in her feminine as she does something she could also bring her masculine to, is what keeps our relationship where we want it to be.
Wonderful. And so please keep me updated. I want to hear about the juicy results. If this video inspired you to create more polarity in your relationship, I invite you to hit the like button below and subscribe so you can be updated when I publish new juicy content. And please share with all your friends and family who you believe would benefit. I look forward to seeing you very soon.